Here we go!
So I saw the new gameplay clip for Sonic Colors Ultimate that came up during E3, and yeah, I'm just gonna be real here. I'm really worried. Hey people, what's up? This is GamerBlake90, proud chief of the Blue Blurs, presenting you with another Sonic news video. We've been pumping out an awful lot of these, which I'm really happy about, but I'm also happy that so many of you have been enjoying these videos, and it's awesome to see. It means more to me than I can put into words. I'm glad to see y'all enjoying this kind of content, and I hope to keep pumping it out. Now before we get into this video, I just wanted to acknowledge real quick that this channel is on the verge of hitting 500 subscribers. Just under a week ago we had hit 400 subscribers, so this is insane. This channel is growing so fast that I'm just not used to this at all. Even back when I produced videos of a different type, I was never growing that fast, so to see this happen today is overwhelming, but in a positive way. Thank you all so much for the amazing support that you've been showing to this channel, and I hope to continue to prove worthy of your support as I continue making videos. Again, thank you, and I will see you all at 500 subs. So in this video, I want to analyze the new gameplay clips that came up for Sonic Colors Ultimate while E3 was ongoing. I'd actually wanted to get this video up yesterday, but then the power went out, so I could not finish it up. But in a way, I'm glad that it was delayed for a day because we've got even more footage to analyze and more screenshots to check out. So for this video, my main focus will be on the videos, and for good reason, which you'll find out why soon. So as day 2 of E3 kicked off, 2 clips dropped unexpectedly from external sources. One from IGN, and one from Gameinformer. Also included was another interview with Sonic Team about their plans for Sonic's 30th, but I'm only going to reference a small portion of that interview for this video, just to let y'all know. I'll save its full contents for another video. So anyway, the footage. One video was of Planet Wisp at 1, that one came from Gameinformer. The other from IGN was from Asteroid Coaster at 1. Then as E3 itself happened, we got a third clip during the Future Games Show, which contained a preview of Tropical Resort at 2. At this point, I'm just rolling my eyes over the poor communication we've been getting from both the Summer Games Fest and E3. I saw in the E3 Twitter feed that Sega would be present during the PC Gaming Show, which indeed they were, but they said nothing about them being present during the Future Games Show as well, cause we got a clip of Colors Ultimate there. So what the heck? Is it really that hard to keep us 100% informed on everything that's going on with Sega? I don't know, man. I think to be fair here, they may have said elsewhere that Sega would be on the Future Games Show, just not on Twitter, because that's primarily where I went to get my information about the event. As such, I almost missed the footage of Tropical Resort Act 2 when it came up during the Future Games Show, but I got to see it, so all is well. And finally, fast forward to today and we have a fourth clip, this one from the Sonic channel itself, though it's unlisted for whatever reason, and it contains footage of Planet Wisp at 4. Out of all the clips we've seen, this one seems to be the most promising by comparison, though I am still spotting issues that I'm going to be diving into for this analysis video, so get ready. I'm mainly going to be highlighting 2 aspects of Sonic Colors Ultimate for this analysis, the gameplay and the visuals. I bet y'all are waiting for the part about the visuals because that's been a hot topic ever since this remaster was announced, and understandably so. The game was initially confined to outdated hardware that couldn't really bring out the game's strengths as far as the visuals were concerned, so now it's coming to modern consoles. There's been a lot of critical eyes on that aspect of the game. But for now, we're going to start with the gameplay. It is pretty faithful to the original, nothing was really changed about Sonic's moveset. You can jump, run, boost, homing attack, stomp, slide. Everything you could already do in Colors, you can do here, with and all. I did notice though, that they seem to have made an adjustment to the visual effects of the homing attack. Similar to Sonic Lost World, there now appears to be a timing window in which you can perform the homing attack to attain special properties. If you properly time your homing attack, you'll hear a sound effect signifying as such, and you'll leave behind a trail of rainbow energy as you're moving through the air. I find this amusing, honestly. I guess Sonic Team took note of all the Skittles taste the rainbow jokes when we fought against the final boss, and so they were like, you know what, let's take this a step further. And yo, I can get behind that idea. But seriously, aside from gaining the rainbow effect, there doesn't appear to be any practical benefit to timing your homing attacks properly. There's no bonus to your score, it doesn't appear to do increased damage to enemies like it did in Sonic Lost World. Nothing. It's just there for the sake of showing off, I guess. That doesn't really make it a meaningful addition, but I still welcome it. The new collectibles being added into Colors Ultimate, including a new addition that I noticed in the Asteroid Coaster clip, show their faces here as well, tails, heads, and all. The infuriating thing is we don't get to see either the tail save mechanic or the purpose behind the gold medals. I kinda wish they had thought to slip that in there, but for whatever reason they didn't. Heck, we don't even get a glimpse of the Rival Rush mode where you race against Metal Sonic. All of these clips just show basic gameplay without highlighting any of the new features being added in. Kind of an odd way to market a game with new content, but maybe they know something I don't. One thing I did notice about Bataille's heads is that some appear to be worth 2 points while others are worth only 1. I don't know if this is part of an easy mode like what Sonic Forces had, or if they're just valued differently in the normal game. But either way, that's interesting. And they seem to completely replace the extra life system that Colors originally had, which I'm not surprised by. They adopted a similar protocol in Sonic Forces, where you can't truly get a game over or lose lives. When you follow the screen, you just respawn from a checkpoint. It is as simple as that. It's not going to surprise me if this is the norm for future releases, and I'm totally fine with this. Ever since gaming transitioned to consoles, the game over thing became sort of redundant to have. It was meaningful during the arcades as it forced you to pay up with more money so you could keep playing, but at home, if you get a game over, you can just start the game over again. So it kind of lost its sting. Although some developers were sure determined to find ways to make getting a game over quite dreadful. Read Banjo and Kazooie or Donkey Kong 64. Those traumatized me as a child. Nah, not really, but for some, they definitely did. As far as what will happen if you do fall to your death and you don't have any tail saves on hand, I'm guessing you will start back over from a checkpoint, but without rings and likely a diminished score. Going forward, it will probably be your only penalty for messing up. If you played the original Colors, you're likely wondering about how the removal of a life system will affect the bonuses you can get at the win screen whenever you finish a stage. Because when you do complete a stage, you have a set amount of time to break the letters and numbers in order to add to your bonuses. And by the way, they've added in a timer for the win screen that shows how long you can move around until it ends, which is pretty cool. I don't really think it was that necessary of a detail to add in, but I can totally respect it. Anyway, the lives are replaced by these gold medals, which don't appear to be specifically placed like the red rings are, as in they aren't really all that hard to find. This is very interesting. I guess it's not really meant to be any sort of a challenge in finding them, but once again, their purpose remains ambiguous. In case you aren't familiar with what to do with the windscreen, just boost or homing attack past the letters over and over until they completely break. They'll leave behind either rings or these gold medals. You're welcome. In the Asteroid Coaster clip, you see another collectible that gives you 100 rings on the spot. Plus you get to enjoy a light show all around Sonic for a bit. This happens right before the trick jump sequence that typically activates when you are launched off a rainbow ramp. If you're wondering how to do the trick jump, just repeatedly press the button that comes up on screen so that you can maximize your bonus, and in some cases, reach higher areas with a successfully performed trick jump. In other cases, if you fail a trick jump, you'll be left with exploring the lower section instead, and you might miss out on collectibles as a result. This happens on a case-by-case basis. As the life system seems to be completely removed, this doesn't offer too much of a benefit other than perhaps improving your score so you can get better ranks. There's something. I believe that's everything to note about the collectibles so far, but we're not quite done covering the gameplay yet. There's a couple more changes that I would like to go over. It seems they're going for a somewhat cinematic feel to the gameplay, because whenever you do specific actions like clearing loops and such, the game's HUD temporarily goes off screen before it comes back. This is pretty cool because it gives a cinematic feel to the game without completely taking the control out of your hands. I really like this, and I hope this stays in the final version. Finally, when you enter a platforming section where it is possible for you to fall to your death, the game will let you know by flashing a warning light at you. You'll see a danger sign at the bottom, and up at the top, red light will start flooding the screen. This is a pretty strong signal to send to the player to let them know what they need to be careful, but hey, it wouldn't be the first time Sonic Team did something like this, as in some other Sonic games they threw in a warning sign whenever you entered a section with bottomless pits, but nothing in the way of warning lights like this. If you found it difficult to take note of the danger signs before, you definitely won't this time around. That should be everything to note about the gameplay so far. It doesn't look like there were any changes to the level layouts like I initially suspected there would be. Like I thought there was a new section being added to, say, Tropical Resort at 1, where you could make use of a Jade Wisp that's being added to the lineup of the Wisp, but then I came across that same area while playing the Wii version and yeah, nothing has changed about it. But then again, this is a remaster. If you're gonna go so far as changing up the level layout, you might as well do a remake. I still think it would have made sense to add sections specifically for the use of the Jade Wisp to further add to the variety of the gameplay. Like they're already going all out with this remaster as it is, why not another small step in that direction? But hey, I can live with this. And now we come to the other notable topic in this analysis video, the visuals. Ever since the Colors Remaster was announced, people were very eager to see just how the game would look when it was no longer held back by the Wii's graphical limitations. And there were certainly some huge strides taken in that regard, but in others, I fear that they may have fallen short, which is part of why I'm really worried. I initially thought that the reason the game looks the way it does right now would be due to the quality of the recordings taken for it, from IGN, Gameinformer, E3, and even the Sonic channel itself. But the more I watched these clips over and over, the less I began to think so. Now, before anybody draws the wrong conclusion, let me get it out of the way right now. No, I'm not saying the game looks like a train wreck, not even close. As said earlier, it definitely looks better in some aspects, like say the world maps, those look stunning. The windscreens, oh my god. The beginning screen before you start each act, holy crap. And the update to Sonic's model, heck yeah. This remaster has been meeting expectations since it was announced, but only some of them. I also think that each of the clips we saw may have come from completely different builds instead of a universal build. For example, when you go to the Asteroid Coaster at 1 or Planet Wisp at 4 clips, whenever Sonic passes over a boost panel or through a rainbow ring, we hear the sound effect of a bounce pad, which obviously is not correct. When I noticed that, I was like, whoa, wait a minute, this is not right, dude, what? Like, it's not as if the bounce pad sound effect completely replaced the original effects for the rainbow ring or the boost panels. You hear them in conjunction with the bounce pads, which makes it even weirder. But this is only a minor nitpick, and I'm sure it will be straightened out in updated builds. But the main issue I have is how foggy certain parts of the stage look, especially at Asteroid Coaster and Planet Wisp. As an example, when you start on Planet Wisp at 1, and you're running through the grass, everything suddenly looks all foggy, and god, that hurt my eyes to look at. If that was intended to visualize Sonic's speed, say that for the boost mechanic, not for when you're running normally. If you pay attention to when you're inside the structures at Planet Wisp, you will sort of see a fog happening there as well, again due to the in-game lighting, or bloom as we now know it. Then at Asteroid Coaster, when you start up over there, everything looks all fine and dandy, stunning even. And heck, the volcanoes look a lot better detailed than I remember them being. Also, that little planet up above us, are we at Sonic CD? You know, the story of Sonic Colors features different worlds anchored to Eggman's park, while he siphons the power of the aliens for himself. I wonder, did anybody else draw any comparison to Sonic CD, time travel mechanic aside, while they were playing this game? No? It's just me? Okay then. Back to Asteroid Coaster. When you're outside the asteroids, everything looks fine. But when you go inside them, it suddenly feels like you're walking through a thick, dense fog, and it's just not pleasant to look at. You won't notice this too much at first, but when you get to a later segment in the stage, it becomes a lot more noticeable. Like say when you're riding the roller coaster, and there are rainbow rings above you. Not at the start of the stage, but later on in it. It's right before a rainbow ramp where you pick up the 100 ring collectible. You'll definitely notice it there. Again, I think it's an after effect of the bloom being turned up a little too much. I do like the idea of them exaggerating the light output from the slime, it just doesn't need to be overdone. And I think other effects are coming into play here as well. Not that I'm too educated on the inner workings of game animations, but even as a casual, I can just look at this and feel that something is just off. Also, when you're zoomed out, Sonic looks a bit difficult to see, as if you were playing on the Wii version. I think part of that is because he has a similar bloom effect around his body as well. Like, it feels like there's light coming from him, even when he's stock still. This doesn't make any sense because he's meant to have an aura only when he's moving at max speed. You know, like the movie Sonic boost that he gets with the deluxe edition. Is this something I should expect from a 2021 remaster? Because somehow I don't think so. Now, to be fair, when the clip for Planet Wisp Act 4 came up today, it looked a bit better, and yet at the very start of the ad, you can still see improper uses of the bloom when you're inside the structure. Call me crazy, but I don't think that's how the stage is supposed to look at all. And finally, we have the clip of Tropical Resort Act 2, which came up during the Future Games show. It is also the clip that caused me to feel the greatest amount of concern over the stability of Colors Ultimate. From the world map, everything looks okay, but when you start up Act 2, something feels off. Like somebody just went and turned off all the lights, or most of them anyway, especially where you're moving through the stage. It kind of feels like you're going through a city at night instead of an amusement park. And I think part of what contributed to that feeling was the removal of the planet Earth from the background. Yet when you're playing through Planet Wisp, the Earth is still there. So I was like, huh? I think Sonic might have come to the park during its closing hours, but either way, this still does not feel right. Especially when you get to the end of the stage? Yeah, the lighting just looks so off. Also, is it just me, or are they touching up the soundtrack for Colors Ultimate too? Couldn't really hear any changes in the Planet Wisp and Asteroid coaster clips, maybe I'm partially deaf, but when watching the Tropical Resort clip, there were definitely some edits to its theme. Give it a listen. But let's recall how I said earlier that we may have seen completely different builds for each clip of this game. Let's also recall that new screenshots came up just today. A few of them feature Tropical Resort Act 1, and you can still see the Earth there. So it boils down to one of two possibilities. Either they deliberately removed the Earth from Act 2 for whatever reason, or they haven't added that in yet in the build of the game that we've seen for that clip. From looking over the screenshots that came up today along with the footage, I formed a theory. Along with changing out the level layouts, I think they are further attempting to diversify the acts by making alterations to specific details in the background. For Act 1 of Tropical Resort, you'll get to see the Earth, but at Act 2, it could be gone. Personally, I think the removal of the Earth might not exactly work, but for everything else, like say, the enhanced feeling of moving through a city at night, that could probably work if it is executed properly. However, if that is intended to be the general theme across all 7 acts, 6 acts plus the boss act, in Tropical Resort, then yeah, if anything, it looks like a step down from how it used to look in the Wii version. Like you're basically taking the colors out of a game that looks like colors. And naturally, I'm not a fan of that. Again, all of these clips that we see could be from much earlier build of the game's development and will in no way reflect the final product. That's what I'm strongly hoping for. Because while this remaster has definitely delivered in enhancing the visuals in some aspects, in others it feels like they took a step back. In other words, it's a hit and miss. I also want to think it's due to the quality of the recordings as well, but I'm not putting too much money on that prediction. I said this on Twitter yesterday, and I'm sure some people will hound me for saying this, and I completely understand. But if this is supposed to be reflective of the game's final version, then one of two things needs to happen. Either there needs to be a day one patch in order to tidy up the game, or they need to do what they did with Team Sonic Racing and push the release date back a bit, because right now, it doesn't look as polished as it could look. But seeing as we're already accepting pre-orders and the release date is out there, I don't think that's a card they're going to be able to play. Besides, we've waited long as it is to get another Sonic game, be it a re-release or a new game. I understand that waiting is sometimes necessary to ensure high quality products, but yeah, we need something. So at best, a day one patch is what I'm hoping for. while we're talking about release dates, apparently we were supposed to get this game much earlier than today. Let's refer back to that interview I talked about earlier where Gameinformer spoke with Sonic Team about the Sonic franchise. In this interview, Takashi Iizuka states point blank that when the pandemic happened last year, their plans were drastically altered, and of course they would be. It's happened to everybody. They've been effective at working from home since March 2020, but it definitely changed some things up still. When asked about why Sonic Colors was chosen as a game to be remastered for modern platforms, Iizuka responded that he had hoped to capitalize on the fact that the Sonic movie had introduced tons of new people to the Blue Hedgehog. This strongly suggests that they did want to release a new game the same year that the Sonic movie came out, but they couldn't because, again, they had to change up plans in light of the pandemic. Furthermore, the 30th anniversary is around the corner, and obviously they wanted to celebrate in full, so it made sense to delay the game for this year. It also makes me think that both Sonic Origins and Sonic Rangers might have been slated for earlier release dates, perhaps as early as this year, if not for the fact that they had to change their plans. I'd always been confused on why Sega didn't put out a new game to capitalize on the success of the Sonic movie. Aside from the mobile release of Sonic at the Olympic Games, it didn't make sense to me. But now, it does. I'm definitely glad they chose to remaster Sonic Colors because one, I think it's a solid entry point for new fans being introduced to Sonic's games. Although it wouldn't be my first suggestion of a game to remaster for that purpose, there are others I could name off like say Sonic Adventure, perhaps Sonic Generations, but Sonic Colors works just as well, I have no complaints about it. It's a fun game, and while I still prefer Unleashed as far as booth games go, Colors has proven to be a pretty good contender. I just hope that people don't take too much of an issue with the presentation of the story, especially the way the characters are written. I think the only character that was written decently well is Eggman actually, and that's saying something. But first and foremost, we should be concerned about a stable gameplay experience. And should these issues get cleaned up, I have a feeling that newcomers to the series will be in for a pleasant surprise. I just wish a little more effort was put towards the presentation, because as it is, all they just did was drop clips and be like, hey, this is how the game's gonna play, we hope you enjoy it, and then just went on their way. Not exactly my ideal method for marketing games remastered or new, but okay. So all in all, I'm still quite excited for Colors Ultimate, and I can't wait for the game to come out. It just needs to be cleaned up here and there, and then it will be good to go. I think it's ultimately due to the overuse of Bloom, and if they dial that back a bit, the game should look a lot better. Don't forget to go and check out the new screenshots of the game, by the way. They look great, just like the Famitsu screenshots did. And that wraps it up for my analysis video of the new content for Sonic Colors Ultimate. So, what did you all think? Do you agree with anything I said, or do you disagree? Whatever your thoughts, let me know about them in the comments down below. And if you want to keep up my content, you know what to do. Hit that sub button and ring that bell so you all don't miss out on anything. As more content related to Sonic's 30th comes out, including this game, you can bet that I will be around to make more videos about it, so I hope you look forward to that. And also I hope you check out my gameplay video for the Sonic series, including the fan games, mods, and the official game from Sega. I provide detailed walkthroughs for each and every one of them, and you might find them useful if you're learning to play the games yourself. I upload at 9 AM every morning, Central Time in the USA, so be sure to check it out. And again, don't forget to sub and ring that bell. That's it for me, guys. I will see you all next time. Stay safe, and don't forget, blue blurs for life. Take care.